29 minutes past 7. Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. We start off today examining issues about the Petroleum Industry Bill. You do know it's been there for a while. We'll find out what is being said or done, the implications of where we are at the moment with the bill. Today, we're joined by Mohammed Gambo, who is the National Public Relations Officer of PENGASSAN. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Well, the last time we heard was when I think it was a delegation of professionals from, I think, Southeast paid the Deputy Speaker a courtesy visit. And he said then, I think it was on the 11th, and he said, well, yes, they will pass the bill, but they're waiting for their ad hoc committees to finish the job about that before they eventually go ahead. But we do know it's been there for a while. Lots of agitations and comments going on. What do you guys think about all of those? I mean, in the union?
One of the things is that, as it is now, because of the bill, Nigeria is bleeding. We've not had any major investment for the past 4 years. Everybody
because of this bill.
Because the IOCs, international investors, are all looking at. They do, you know, you have to know the game. You have to know the rules, that's the framework, what is going to guide the game. And everybody's panicking. Nobody knows what is happening. I mean, this is a bill that we've been working on for like 8 years. Is among, you know, something that important has taken 8 years before it even gets to these preliminary levels in the both houses. We made our presentation and to the lower and upper chamber, and what we've noticed is that there's no sincerity of purpose.
Where?
In the Senate. I think the bulk is now in the Senate. It has left the presidency. To be candid, it's no longer, because I've heard of even the minister of Petroleum saying that they need this bill. You know, let us work with it. You know, the bill emanated from the ministry, and every stakeholders have put in their, you know, their own input. We had about 2 consultants, you know, to give us a world view of what the bill should be like, and we've noticed that, like in some part of the bill, that it gives the minister excessive power, and which we felt that, you know, the minister should be more of regulating instead of being a player as well, you know, should be the referee. And we made these presentations. We've lobbied some of these House of Reps and Senators, but we noticed that there's no sincerity of purpose. It's like some people just don't want the bill to be passed. And I mean, it's unimaginable. For 4 years now, we've not had any major investment here.
You remember the controversy that trailed the first presentation of the PIB, you know, when later on we got to hear that there was not even just one copy, that there were several copies and nobody knows which copy was which. And then before we knew what was happening, the Ministry of Petroleum Resources had to come up with another one and, you know, ensure that they engraved and, you know, sealed it, and just to ensure that it wasn't faked. But looking at what has happened, I mean, looking at the lobbying that has trailed, you know, a previous bill in such a way that people now decide to make all sorts of copies, how are you ensuring that, you know, lobbying is not also scuttling, or some form of lobbying is not scuttling President's attempt to ensure that that bill goes, you know, through passage?
In the democracy presidential system that we practice, you must lobby. You know, the unions have to, you know, we have passed that stage in which you have to be lockout, you know, just hit the streets. You have to lobby these folks. But what we notice is that there's a lot of intrigues, as I already added. I mean, why should you have different versions? But by the time we went to the House and the Senate, National Assembly, we had one that all stakeholders, you know, this is the main one. But different influences, different opinions, you know, the IOCs expect that. We are talking of government take, you know, the union taking care of this thing. But the way we have approached it is that first we tell people that we are patriots. We are in the oil and gas as Nigerians first, and we are like the watchdog for Nigerians. We are holding this as unionists, I mean, participating in this sector for Nigerians. And that's why we always tell people, especially PENGASSAN, we tell people that, look, whatever concerns us in this is not really the people working there, it's Nigerians, because at the end of the day, the common man will be affected. What we have done is that with our consultants, of course, we did one of the best presentations at the Senate and at the House. But we just don't know what's influence. And we're appealing to the National Assembly that whatever they're going to do, they should first take into cognizance this country. I mean, this is a sector that 95% of our revenue comes from. more than 80% of our exports come from. So it's like the lifeline of the country. So I'm just, we are using this opportunity to tell Nigerians that it's in the hands of our senators elected by us. And we expect that they will do what can stand this test of time. We're not talking about just tomorrow. We're talking of the generation coming to benefit from this God-given resource.
Now, you've seen some of the debate, following the presentation of the new PIB. You saw what was happening in the Senate, considering it was seen that there were divisions along, is it ethnic lines, not even political lines now. There were concerns as to, who owned the rights, who will have the wealth, who should get 10%, who shouldn't, And then there was also the talk of oil blocks. You have benefited, who has the most, you saw all that kind of controversy. Do you think that there is a way that they can actually move forward without this, delving into the politics of all of that?
Well, the onus is on the Senate to rise above, the National Assembly to rise above all these interests. That's why they're there. There's been a lot of indecent, activity in the industry. It has not been transparent, oil blocks, just like what's in Petrobras, if they are going to be awards of contracts, everything you can see it, you can log on and see who is getting who. But in NNPC, it has been shrouded in a lot of, and you can understand, not because of it's not the NNPC staff that is there, but somehow the presidency has hijacked the NNPC. The NNPC is a cash cow, for many things that are more outside, oil and gas. So
does this bill plan to? Will this
the bill will make the NNPC autonomous, more freer. That's what it will do. They'll be able to compete with other national oil companies like Petrobras, Prt1. They will not. It will not be the case that the president is traveling. He wants to speak. Call the GMD of NNPC. That one will leave whatever he's doing and runs around. This is part of what is have driven our refineries to a state of comatose.
They say the strongest opposition to this bill is supposed to be coming from the international oil companies.
Yes.
Why?
I would not, with my interaction with them, to be fair, they have genuine reasons, because already, when you're talking about the joint ventures has a ratio of sharing between the IOCs and the NNPC. NNPC is not giving his own cash calls. NNPC is not making his own contributions. So as it is, they are doing everything. From the 80% that they are getting, I guess about, let's say from whatever take they are getting, 80% goes on revenue and everything like that. So they have concerns. Nigerians should have a bill. That's when the Senate president said that the IOCs should not put us on undue pressure. They cannot intimidate us. Look, oil is in everywhere. In Africa now, all our neighbors have oil. You go to Niger, Ghana, everybody, the GOG, everybody has oil. So it's not a preserve of Nigeria. And Nigeria has to have a bill that is competitive. These people don't want to go, but as it is, we're sending them away. And our members are working there. Nigerians are working there. As it is now, because of pipeline vandalization, Shell has closed down the whole of the western region. And for us as unionists, we are losing about 50% of our members.
The entire operations?
The entire operations. Because for about 2 years, they were running at a loss. They were just going to, the pipelines are busted there. There was a time that, in the eastern trunk line, that about 175 pipe bursts, eruption. That's what they were just doing. In the western zone, for 2 years, they were not making any money. And you're talking about a global family, and Nigeria is like the least, bringing everybody down. They were paying salaries. So as it is now, they could not take it for 2 years. I've not even seen a company that will do that. You have to give kudos to these people. For 2 years, they were paying salaries, they were promoting.
Most of these pipelines that you say were busting for about 2 years, they're jointly owned by the oil companies in Nigeria, aren't they?
Yeah. The pipelines are really jointly owned by Nigerians.
So how is it that they are losing? Does that mean Nigeria wasn't losing anything?
No, Nigeria is losing. At the end of the day, capital flight,
Nigeria was losing,
there's no
but was not
operations,
bothered.
we cannot pump, we cannot meet our quota in OPEC, as it is now. Angola is far ahead of us. Ghana, that is just a baby that started, they're already pumping,
Okay, but besides the oil companies that are opposing this bill, the northern governors were also opposing it because of oil exploration agency that is not in the bill.
Yeah, for a while now, the government have been trying to, get oil, see if they can explore oil in the Chad Basin and thereabouts, which has not been this thing. Then we also have people who have been talking about the host communities of this place. And just like, as we said, one of our inputs that the host community should not be only where the crude is derived from, but even where we even added that where the pipelines passes, so that you have a buy-in of those people to protect it, like a vigilante kind of thing. So everybody knows that if this thing is busted, you will not be making money. You understand what I'm saying?
Do we have to do that in order to protect it? What about, is that how other countries who've got this do theirs?
No, other countries are not Nigeria.
What happens to technology? That's
Yeah,
what
yes, that's what, you see what I was saying, that you have drones, you have all the kind of technology. But as I said, there seems to be a cluelessness in government. There seems to be, if you cannot protect what gives you 90% of your revenue, what can you protect?